Not long ago, I was diagnosed with a terminal condition that has taken away much of my physical independence and completely altered the course of my life. Before this, I was a healthy, active adult, genuinely living what felt like my best life. I spent my days immersed in the things I loved most: playing sports, hiking in the mountains, and going on trekking adventures with close friends. I felt free, strong, and unstoppable, but seemingly overnight, everything changed. Suddenly, I found myself unable to do so many of the things that had once come so naturally. Simple movements that I once took for granted became difficult, even impossible. It's painful to watch my friends and family continue with their daily lives, effortlessly doing the things I now struggle with. I don't begrudge them their routines or their happiness, but there's an undeniable ache in realizing that my world has become so much smaller so quickly. One of the most difficult adjustments I've had to make has been transitioning to life in a wheelchair. While I am genuinely grateful for the invention of the wheelchair, it has also been an incredibly humbling experience. Accepting that level of dependence and that shift in mobility has been hard. Throughout this difficult transition, my parents have helped me a lot. They've reassured me time and again, promising that nothing has really changed, that I am still the same person to them, and that their love is just the same. But the truth is, things have changed, and my parents don't treat me the same way anymore. You see, every year my entire extended family on my mother's side comes together for an annual gathering at our family vacation house. The house originally belonged to my maternal grandfather, and after his passing, it became my grandmother's. For a few days each year, Mom's large family gathers together. We watch movies late into the night, play games, share meals, and just enjoy each other's presence. All of us cousins play games and catch up, while the adults relax and reminisce and unwind in their own way. For as long as I can remember, I've never missed this yearly get together. So this year, just like every other year, I was genuinely looking forward to our annual family get together. Despite everything that's changed in my life, I thought this, at least, would remain the same. I had already started thinking about what it would be like to see everyone again, to sit with my cousins and talk late into the night, to hear my uncle's jokes and my aunt's warm laughter echo through the old house. But then my parents started hinting, gently but noticeably, at the idea of me not going this year. It began with what seemed like a casual conversation. Both my mom and dad came into my room and, with carefully chosen words, asked if I even wanted to go with them this year. My dad mentioned how I could no longer do any of the things like I used to and how I was better off just staying at home and resting. I was taken aback. I reminded them that even if I couldn't participate in everything like before, I still wanted to go, to see my aunts and uncles and to be with my cousins, to feel included. But my mom insisted that I would definitely get bored or moody since I wouldn't have anything to do. She offered an alternative. Perhaps I could make other plans like hanging out with friends here instead. It felt like my parents were preparing me to be left behind, not because I wanted to be, but because they thought it would be easier that way. Easier for me, or maybe easier for them. Either way, it hurt. I wasn't asking for things to be exactly like before. I just wanted to be a part of my family gathering. Was that really such an inconvenience? I was hurt, but I stayed quiet. A part of me hoped it was just a passing comment, something they didn't truly mean. But today the topic came up again. My parents approached me more directly this time. They gently asked if I had maybe made some plans to hang out with my friends during the same time as the family trip, like they had suggested to me. My dad even tried to reassure me, saying I'd be welcome to stay at the house, watch movies, relax, and be on my own if I wanted to. He offered to hire someone to assist me while they were away if I needed any help. That was the moment I couldn't hold it in anymore. I burst out, emotions spilling over, asking them point blank what was going on. Why were they trying to exclude me from the family gathering? Why were they treating me like a burden, like someone who didn't belong at an event I had never once missed in my life? They hesitated, looking visibly uncomfortable. My mom glanced at my dad, and for a moment they both seemed unsure of what to say. Then, with downcast eyes and fidgeting hands, they admitted it. They didn't want me to come with them this year. Hearing those words out loud, words I had feared but never expected to actually hear, felt like a punch to the chest. In that moment, I realized they weren't just trying to protect me from discomfort, they were trying to only protect themselves. Maybe they were ashamed of me and didn't want me anywhere near other family members again. My mom then went on to say that ever since my diagnosis, since being told I have a terminal illness, I've changed. She said I'm no longer their happy, jolly kid, that I've become very moody and dark. She went on to say that while she understands that everyone has good days and bad days, what she fears most is me having one of my bad days in front of the rest of the family. She said she was afraid that I might break down, that I'd cry or withdraw, and that if that happened, she and Dad would be left feeling embarrassed. I just sat there trying to process it all. For context, I do have bad days. Some days I feel so overwhelmed by everything that I just stay in bed and cry. My body gets tired and I just let myself feel all my emotions. After all, I have been through so much. I'm young and I miss the freedom, the spontaneity, and the joy that used to be a given. I constantly mourn the life I once had, the body that could run and climb, the laughter that came so easily, the effortless connection I once felt to the world around me. I had no idea my parents saw my very human response to a devastating illness as something shameful, that they felt that me crying about it was somehow embarrassing for them. It's like they seemed more concerned about how I might look in front of their relatives than how I actually feel. I tried to reassure my mom as gently and sincerely as I could that the family get together was only for a few days and that I truly wanted to go. I told her how much I miss seeing everyone, how much it would mean to me to be there even if I couldn't do all the things I used to. I promised her that I would do my best to keep my emotions in check and that I wouldn't cry in front of everyone and I'd try to hold it together for the sake of the family. I said all of that because I really meant it. I just wanted the chance to be included. But even after I said all that, she still didn't look convinced. Both she and my dad also argued how having me there in a wheelchair would require constant attention and energy, how I would need supervision, assistance, and accommodations. My dad insisted that he didn't want to spend his days running after me. I get it. I know my condition isn't easy, not for me and not for the people around me. I know that using a wheelchair changes things, adds logistical challenges, and requires more care and patience. But what I didn't expect was that my parents would completely exclude me and make me feel isolated. It became painfully clear that they were worried about themselves feeling burdened, exhausted, or uncomfortable. It felt like I was too much for them, like my presence was no longer welcome, not because of anything I did, but simply because of what I now need. At that moment, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I broke down and started to cry. The idea that my own parents, My own parents were okay with leaving me behind, that they could so casually decide I wasn't part of something I had always belonged to, was more than I could bear. But instead of comfort or understanding, I was met with frustration. My mom raised her voice, accusing me of trying to make them feel guilty on purpose. My dad told me I was being too emotional, as if my pain was an overreaction, as if being heartbroken over exclusion was irrational. My dad started to get agitated and admitted that they didn't want the rest of the family to see me the way they see me every day: fragile, dependent, different. He said it bluntly, that me being in a wheelchair ruins the family reputation because no one else in our extended family has any conditions like mine. All my cousins, he reminded me, are healthy and happy, as though my presence would somehow tarnish the image they wanted to present to everyone else. My mom didn't stop him. In fact, she added that it would hurt her too much to see me trying to keep up with the others. She said if I kept insisting to go with them, then it would make her resent me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I didn't ask to be in this position. I didn't choose this illness. I'm still the same person inside, still their child, but to them, I had become a problem to manage, a source of embarrassment, someone to hide away. When I asked my parents, what about my cousins who have been looking forward to meeting me this year, my dad argued that I could always video call or text my cousins just like I usually do, and make up some excuses about why I wasn't going this year. I was so overwhelmed with anger and frustration after what my parents said that I couldn't even look at them. I didn't want to speak, didn't want to hear anything else. I walked away and locked myself in my room. And since then, I've stayed here, isolated, because the humiliation and pain I feel are too heavy to ignore. My mom and dad are standing their ground and feel like they are not in the wrong for what they said. They keep telling me that they still love me and that they only want what's best for me. But those words feel hollow after everything they've said. They keep trying to justify their actions, saying they were just being honest, that I'm overreacting, that I'm making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. My mom feels I need to grow up and stop being so emotional, that I should just accept that they're going without me and move on. But how am I supposed to move on from this? From being told by the two people who are supposed to stand by me no matter what, that I am too much for them? That I make them tired? That they need a break from me like I'm a job they didn't sign up for? What they don't understand is that I'm already grieving every single day, grieving the loss of my independence, my body, my old life. I'm already mourning the freedom I used to have, the simplicity of just being me without apologies. And now I have to grieve something else too, the realization that my parents would rather exclude me than adapt to the new reality with me. They think I'm being dramatic, but I'm not, and I don't know how to make them see that. I am at my wit's end, which is why I'm on Reddit today. AITA for wanting to be a part of my family's annual get together? Update 1. First of all, I want to make something very clear. I do understand that my parents deserve a break. I really do. They've had to adjust to a lot since my diagnosis, just like I have. I know this hasn't been easy for them, and I'm not blind to the fact that my care requires effort, emotional, physical, and otherwise. I see the stress in their faces even when they try to hide it, and I know they've had to give up parts of their own routines and comforts to be there for me. I get it, and I'm trying. I really am. I try every single day to adjust. I try to do things on my own as much as I possibly can. I don't want to be a burden to anyone, especially not to the people I love. I wish more than anything that I wasn't dependent, that I could still run, play, hike, laugh like I used to without worrying about how much energy it takes from someone else. I wish I didn't need help just to get through a normal day. But I can't wish this illness away. This disease has changed my life in ways I'm still learning how to process. I didn't choose this, and it hurts to admit that I am dependent in ways I never used to be. It's not easy to accept that, and it's not easy to feel like the people who are supposed to be my support system want to take a break from me. I'm not angry that my parents are tired. I'm heartbroken that instead of asking for help or support for themselves, they chose to exclude me and then tried to justify it by calling me an emotional problem, a risk to their comfort, and even an embarrassment. Another thing I feel is important to clarify is that my parents were not my primary caregivers when I was first diagnosed with this illness. From the very beginning, my care was handled by professionals. We're a financially well off family, and as soon as my condition was confirmed, my parents hired full time caregivers, physical therapists, and specialists to support me around the clock. I had a dedicated team helping me manage my symptoms, move through daily routines, and adjust to the enormous changes happening in my body. During this time, my parents continued with their jobs and day to day lives without interruption. They didn't stop working to stay home with me, nor were they the ones physically helping me in and out of bed, assisting me in the shower, or guiding me through rehabilitation exercises. That work was done by people they paid, competent, compassionate professionals who were there for me when I was at my most vulnerable. It wasn't until I gradually stabilized and became more comfortable using the wheelchair, when I had figured out how to do many things independently again, that we phased out the hired help. I made that decision myself because I wanted to try living more independently and to prove to them that I could still function, even if differently than before. I don't say all this to downplay the emotional toll my illness may have had on them, but I do want to be honest about the reality of my family situation. Something else has become painfully clear to me through all of this. My parents are extremely image conscious. I suppose I always knew it on some level. They've always cared about how things look to other people. But I never realized how deeply that runs or how far it would go. I guess I assumed or maybe hoped that their love for me was bigger than their need to be admired or respected by others. But now I'm not so sure. All my life, my parents pushed me to outshine my cousins. Do better, they'd say. Better grades, better sports performance, better awards, better everything. It wasn't just encouragement, it felt like a constant competition. I never questioned it too much because I thought that's just what parents did to motivate their kids. And during our annual family get togethers, my parents would brag about me a lot. They talk about my academic achievements, my athleticism, my leadership skills. At the time, I thought they were proud of me, genuinely proud. I'm their only child, after all. I believe their words came from love and admiration. But now I'm starting to see it differently because now that I'm in a wheelchair, now that I can't perform or impress or compete, the bragging has stopped. The excitement around my presence has faded. Suddenly, I'm no longer the child they want to show off. I'm the child they want to keep hidden. I can't help but feel that they're ashamed of me because I no longer fit the image they've spent years curating. I'm not the high achieving, vibrant kid they used to parade in front of the family anymore. I'm the one who needs help, who cries, who struggles to do even basic things. And I think in their eyes, that vulnerability is somehow a weakness that reflects poorly on them. I used to always believe without question that my parents' love for me was unconditional. But now I'm starting to question whether that love was ever really about me or about the version of me that made them look good. And just to be clear, my relatives, my aunts, uncles, and cousins, have made the effort to visit me since my diagnosis. Even though most of them live far away and can't physically be here all the time, they've always stayed in touch. They constantly check in with my parents to ask how I'm doing. A couple of my cousins even took the time to travel just to come and see me in person. That meant the world to me. We all stay in contact through our group chats and we talk regularly. No one, other than my parents, has treated me differently or awkwardly. No one has made me feel pitied or excluded. My cousins and I have always had a strong, genuine connection, and we continue to have that. They make me feel normal, which is why this whole situation with my parents hurts even more. Because I honestly don't think my extended family would judge me the way my parents are assuming they will. I don't think they'd feel awkward or embarrassed by my presence. If anything, I believe they'd be happy to have me there, just like every other year. My cousins, especially, would be shocked to know my parents are trying to leave me behind and are deliberately excluding me from the annual get together. Update 2. So, today my parents left. They packed up and headed off to the annual family get together without me. I took everyone's advice and tried to have one last calm, honest conversation with them. I hoped that maybe something would shift, that they'd reconsider, that they'd look at me and remember that I'm still their child, that I still want to be part of this family. But they didn't. They listened, but they didn't hear me. My dad did admit, right before they walked out the door, that he felt a bit guilty about leaving me behind, but that he hoped I would understand one day. My mom gave me a list of emergency numbers before she left. She told me that she and dad would be just a phone call away if that made this any easier. And once they were gone, I just sat there, devastated. I've never missed this family gathering before. It's always been one of the happiest times of the year for me. And now, this year, while everyone else is going, laughing, catching up, making memories, I'm here, alone, left behind. Later in the evening, the texts started coming in, one after another, from my cousins, aunts, uncles. All of them were reaching out, asking the same thing. Hey, where are you? Why didn't you come with your parents? Are you okay? I think they must have realized something was off the moment they saw my parents arrive without me. I mean, I've never missed a single family get together before. This has always been one of the few times every year that we all get to be together, and they know how much it means to me. At first, I didn't know how to respond. I couldn't bring myself to lie, but I also didn't feel strong enough to tell the truth. Not yet. So I ignored the calls, I left the messages on read. I just didn't have the words. I was still processing my own grief, my own anger, and trying not to let it overwhelm me completely. Then my grandma called. I love her so much. She's always been one of the few people I felt completely safe with. I answered, trying to sound normal, and told her that I had just decided not to come this year, that it was my choice, but she didn't buy it. She told me my parents had been saying the exact same thing to everyone there, that I had chosen to stay behind, but Grandma said she could feel something was off. She said my voice didn't sound right, that she could tell I was holding something back, and then she gently but firmly kept pressing, refusing to let it go. In that moment, I broke down. I couldn't keep lying, not to her. So I told her everything. I told her what happened, what was said, how I tried to fight to go, and how I begged, how my parents decided it would be better if I stayed home. I told her about the comments they made about appearances, about not wanting the rest of the family to see me like this, and how I was somehow going to ruin things just by being there in a wheelchair. Grandma was furious. I could hear the anger in her voice immediately. She wasn't just upset, she was livid. She kept saying, "How dare they do this to you?" And "What kind of parents leave their child behind like this?" I've never heard her so mad. And she told me without hesitation that she was going to take care of it, that she was going to deal with my parents and give them a serious piece of her mind. Hearing her stand up for me, feeling her outrage on my behalf, reminded me that I'm not alone. that not everyone sees me as a burden, that there are still people in my family who love me for who I am, as I am. I don't know exactly what happened after I told my grandma the truth, but not long after that phone call, I got a furious call from my parents. They were livid, absolutely fuming. According to them, Grandma had confronted them in front of everyone at the get together. She apparently shouted at them, called them out for what they had done to me, and made it very clear that she wasn't going to let them just brush this under the rug. My parents told me they felt completely humiliated. My mom accused me of betraying them. She said I had no right to go behind their backs and push them under the bus after they supposedly had everything handled. She genuinely expected me to go along with their version of events, that I had willingly stayed behind and to just keep pretending that everything was fine. The fact that I didn't lie to Grandma, that was apparently a bigger problem to her than the fact that she abandoned her own child for the sake of saving face. My dad joined in and said I was unnecessarily causing family drama. He accused me of switching my story just to make them look bad, as if the truth somehow became a lie just because I finally said it out loud, as if my honesty was the problem, not their decision to leave me behind. Apparently, according to my mom, Grandma now wants to kick them both out of the family vacation house. She told me Grandma said that if they're so obsessed with appearances, maybe they should go elsewhere and maintain their perfect image on their own. She and Dad are blaming me for the fallout. Update 3. So I just wanted to start by saying thank you to everyone who's taken the time to comment, message, or just send their support my way. I've been reading through everything and I honestly didn't expect this kind of response. Your words, your empathy, your anger on my behalf, it all means more than I can put into words. So many of you have been reminding me again and again that none of this is my fault, that I'm not to blame for what happened, that my parents made their own decisions and I should never have been expected to cover for them. And the more I sit with it, the more I realize you're right. I've spent the last couple of days second guessing myself, wondering if maybe I had done something wrong by telling my grandmother the truth. Maybe I should have just stayed quiet or played along or protected my parents' image the way they so clearly wanted me to. But every single time I start to spiral into that thinking, I come back to the same thing. They left me. They made the decision. They told me I wasn't welcome. They were the ones who said I would ruin the mood, that I would be a burden, that they'd feel more comfortable without me there. And then they expected me to lie for them, to take the hit, to stay silent. And when I didn't, they blamed me for the fallout, for the consequences of their own choices. But I'm done letting them manipulate me. I'm done carrying guilt that doesn't belong to me. I'm done twisting myself in knots trying to protect people who clearly weren't thinking about protecting me. And I'm definitely done pretending that what they did was normal or okay. Thanks to everyone here, I'm starting to see that clearly now. So many of you have said it better than I can, but the truth is, I deserve to be treated like a human being. I deserve to be part of my family. I deserve honesty, respect, and care. And I deserve to live without being made to feel like I'm some shameful secret just because my life looks different now. If they want to be upset about the truth coming out, that's on them, not me. I'm not going to carry their shame. Update 4. This morning, something completely unexpected happened. I woke up to the sound of my doorbell ringing nonstop. At first, I thought maybe it was a delivery or someone from the neighborhood, but the ringing kept going, so I had no choice but to wake up. I wheeled myself to the door, still half asleep, and when I opened it, I just froze. Standing there were all of my cousins, and not just them, some of my aunts, uncles, and also my grandmother. They were all there, smiling at me. My cousins were practically bouncing with excitement. I just stared, completely speechless. I couldn't believe it. Then Grandma stepped forward and wrapped her arms around me and gave me the warmest, tightest hug. She kissed the top of my head and said, "Since you couldn't join us, we decided to bring the celebration to you." I didn't even know what to say. I think I was still in shock. All I could do was nod and hold back the tears. My parents had also come back with everyone, and they looked a bit quiet and didn't say anything to me while my relatives and cousins greeted me. Later, once things had settled and everyone had come inside, my mom pulled me aside. She said she had talked more with Grandma the night before, that she had taken time to think about everything, and then she apologized. She told me, "I shouldn't have left you behind. I'm sorry that I hurt you with this decision. This won't ever happen again." She even admitted that she had been more concerned with appearances than with what I needed. She said she'd been afraid, overwhelmed, and unsure how to face everything changing, but that none of that excused what she did. I'll be honest. I don't know if she meant every word or if she was just trying to smooth things over now that everyone's here. Part of me still feels guarded, still hurt, still a little numb, and that's okay. I think I need time to fully process her apology and decide what to do with it. But right now, I don't care, not really. My cousins and I are all together now in my home, laughing, playing games, watching movies just like we used to. They've brought sleeping bags, snacks, even our old favorite board games. Some of my uncles are helping in the kitchen. Someone's already set up the backyard for a mini movie night tonight. They've all decided to stay for a few days and turn this into our family gathering. I feel overwhelmed in the best possible way. I feel so seen, loved, and included, and that means more than anything. So for now, I'm just going to keep my feelings for my parents aside and just enjoy my time with the rest of my family. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.